Hello, good afternoon. My name is Sam Young from HomeLife New World. Today I'm very happy to be joined by Mr. Jason Lam, Vice President of CentreCourt. Jason and I have worked together in some capacity for the past 10 to 12 years.
10 years. We met 10 years ago, believe it or not. Yeah.
I'm very glad that I have this chance to sit down in such a formal setting now.
Instead of over beers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pick his brain on their newest project, PRIME Condos, coming out. Thank you so much, Jason.
It's a pleasure. I'm honored to be here, and I'm glad to speak with you about PRIME and CentreCourt and any other questions you have for us.
First of all, thank you so much for your continued support of HomeLife New World and our team.
Yep.
We've been a long-time supporter of CentreCourt, and we are very excited and gearing up for PRIME. Just wanted to start off and talk about the overall market, sort of what's happened in the past year or so. Things have been crazy. Maybe you can speak about your past few projects, how they have went, or what a success that they have all been.
Sure, yeah. Let's start with the pre-construction side. A year ago, in February 2020, we launched 55 Mercer, which is the old Gretzky site at 99 Blue Jays Way, and that was a huge success. We were 90% sold within under 2 weeks. Within a very short time of small amount of time, we were in sort of lockdown mode. COVID was really taking place. And look, it was a very foreign idea, a very foreign environment that we were all entering. So for weeks and months that came ahead, we were very uncertain. Resale, pre-construction went, stopped. Stock market was in a challenging position, but very quickly you saw resale market really turn around. You started to see low rise really just dominate, and it wasn't just a couple of transactions. We were breaking records in terms of amount that we were trading and the prices that we were hitting. And not long after, in July, we launched 199 Church. In the middle of the pandemic, we were 75% sold within 30 days. But that spoke to a lot of people that had a long-term outlook on their capital, right? Like they're building for the future. They're buying for their children. They're building generational wealth. So they understood that this condo being ready in 4 years really had nothing to do with COVID. It was more of a decision to try and deploy capital and grow that wealth by buying pre-construction. During that time, you're still seeing crazy price appreciation in low-rise, furthering the price gap between condominium and the low-rise sector. Going into 2021, we were talking about it being the year of the condo. The year of the condo meaning that the prices in low-rise were hitting such a massive number, even to this day, the value, the affordability, the accessibility, the lifestyle that condominiums offer was forgotten, and right now you're seeing it come back alive. You're seeing multiple offers in downtown Toronto condos. We're no longer afraid of downtown Toronto condos. And we launched 8 Wellesley, which was sort of the perfect timing, a fantastic location by an incredible development team, organization top down. And what that showed us is that people are more excited about downtown than they've ever been. And I think there's a couple of reasons. Number one, the pent-up demand. There are so many projects that enter the market that you work on, that you sell, that your buyers buy throughout the GTA. And I think it's amazing to see in the last 2, 3, 4 years the expansion of the pre-construction market in terms of condominium mid to high rise throughout the GTA, growing communities, master plan communities, generational legacy communities that are taking place. But what you're also seeing is price appreciation. That demand is fueling prices to increase. You're seeing multi-phases. And I think when we took this break from downtown, I think now that people are putting their eyes back on the core and the downtown market, they're seeing the value relative to 905 and Fringe 416. So right now, the market has never been hotter. I don't believe there's ever been a hotter market in terms of volume sold, prices sold, excitement, low interest rates. And the crazy part is that this has almost very little to do with immigration today. You don't have, full-on immigration. You don't have international students in the city yet. You don't have borders open up for massive tourism in the GTA, in Toronto, that fuels Airbnb and rentals, hospitality, entertainment. You don't have international business like we used to have. So if the market is this hot today, what is going to happen when the vaccine rollout is done, hopefully by September of this year, which is not far from now, and all of those measures are now put into play, is the market will maybe reach another gear. And so don't be waiting on the sidelines. Now's the time to buy, because it will pass you by. If you're afraid of affordability, you probably should be. And Prime gives you the most affordable downtown condominium in one of the best locations with one of the best stories with the best developer in Toronto.
I totally agree. The demand for real estate downtown and downtown core has not stopped. And it stopped a little bit last year, but I mean, it will come back and bounce back very soon. Now, lots of people are asking me, Sam, will the market be like 2017 where, we saw massive increases and then all of a sudden the government intervening and, dampening our market? Do you see that happening?
I think what speaks volumes is the amount of demand that people want to buy, acquire a hard, tangible asset. They're seeing inflation firsthand. They're seeing a price appreciation within the market, and they're saying, I don't want to be left behind. So I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know if there's going to be government stepping in to create policies that will cool us down. But I would say that a lot of people have been incredibly successful, more successful in real estate over the last 12 months than they've been doing anything else. So it's hard to say. I don't have that answer. But it seems like despite that, people understand the value of real estate as a priority, as a tangible asset, a hard asset, that they will now have an option to rent, live, own, assign. And I think they're seeing that now, and they're setting up for their future. And in pre-construction in particular, that's not going to stop, right? That's going to continue to chug along. Maybe if they introduce measures, there'll be more resale. But on the pre-construction side, it's the fact that it's done 4 years from now. You're paying in itty-bitty deposit installments over long periods of time. It's much more digestible. You don't have to get a mortgage tomorrow. So it's a lot easier. It's a much more digestible, the process. So that will, I believe, continue to thrive. But the one thing is that you're not going to see is a whole ton of downtown launches. You're going to see much more launches outside on the fringes looking in. And so that's why a site like Prime is going to have a ton of demand, is because they don't come around very often.
And downtown will always be downtown. All the head office will not move. U of T, Ryerson will never move away from downtown.
That's right.
So I think all the excitement outside of Toronto that's happened this past year will only drive demand further for people to come back downtown very soon.
It's the pendulum, right? Like as the outside gets more expensive, downtown looks cheap, and then you're going to come back downtown. Downtown gets more expensive, outside looks cheap, so on and so forth. Just like low-rising condo, they have their waves that support each other. And so, yeah, I agree with you, and I see, a very bright future in our market.
And Jason also brings up a very, very good point. So pre-construction, you're buying something now with a low percentage down, and you're waiting for 4 to 5 years for closing. So even if some people are not too confident in the downtown market today, maybe not next year, but 4 years, I think most people can agree that things will be somewhat back to normal, and downtown will again be flourishing again, I think.
Yeah, and I'm going to start talking about Prime. If you are apprehensive about investing in a condominium, there really is no better proposition than Prime, right? I'm an investor. I want to be a landlord. My biggest concern is, who am I going to rent to? Do I have the option to choose my renter, or do I have to go beg and find renters? How much demand? Is there going to be a lot of price appreciation, and why? So when you look at Prime, it has something that no other project in the GTA has, and it's what I call the insurance policy. It's a safety net, and that is Ryerson University across the street. That is your safety net. That pool of 47,000 students is constantly regenerating. And the institution of Ryerson, they have very little beds on campus. Very little. Only 3% can live on campus. Over 40,000 students, faculty, administration, international students depend on the private sector, your buyer, Prime, owners, to live. Who pays their rent? Their parents. Who pays their school? Their parents. They want them to be as close to campus. This is the closest condominium to Ryerson. So that's phase one. That's comfort. That's the safety net. You've got this huge institution that's not going anywhere and that is growing perpetually year over year. So that gives you comfort. Step one. Step two is you're also a 10-minute walk to Yonge Street, the mecca of real estate. Culture, energy, retail, convenience, lifestyle, but more importantly, public transportation. You're a 10-minute, 50-minute walk to 2 subway stations at Yonge and Dundas Square, and that's a whole other point in itself, that location, Eaton Center, it's a landmark location, and you've got one at College. But when you're downtown, you don't need the subway because everything is
walking distance.
The walking distance effect. That is so powerful. A lot of the other sites we talk about, they need the subway. They need GO. We don't. Why? Because we're also a 15-minute walk to not just the financial district, it's the second largest financial core in North America. Like, you know what I mean? That's over 500,000 jobs at your doorstep that you can walk to. Then you've got the hospital network. We've got tens of thousands of jobs in the medical field that are very high paying. Then you've got the tech core, which is an emerging market. Again, Toronto is a leader in tech. We also have the entertainment district. And those are all coming closer to the east side. They're all moving east bit by bit, year by year. So I don't need the students. I have the students. But I can go to the medical field. I can go to the world of finance, law. I can get into entertainment, tech. So me as a landlord, I have control. I can choose between many different tenants. Now I control to get the best tenant for the highest rent. That is power, that is leverage, that is what you want in an investment vehicle if you're afraid. This is a no-brainer proposition by an incredible development team, #1 in the city. And so that's what makes me so excited. I know I took you completely off course, but I had to talk about Prime and its location because that's what it's all about.
And at such a central location, like Jason mentioned, it's great to have subway, but you don't really even need it because you have your legs, you can walk everywhere, it's accessible by...
Absolutely. Yeah, you can bike. People take it for granted, right? People, some people don't understand the walkability factor. It is remarkable, and I think when you're living downtown to feel that energy, it's not just that, it's the convenience factor, it's a lifestyle. But you're seeing a big change in East Toronto, in the East Core. With every passing building that comes online, the area, the fabric of the community is being revitalized, and you're seeing businesses take advantage. You're seeing Ryerson take advantage. You're seeing them expand, them grow, and there's nowhere else to develop, right? You're going to see more sites on Church, more sites on Jarvis, on Sherbourne, on Parliament, because you have no choice. If you want to be as close to Yonge as possible, south of Bloor, those are the streets. That is your corridor.
And that's the key, to be as close to Yonge as possible. And really, you're the same distance as Bay and Zurich University.
Thank you. And when was the last time you saw a launch on Bayer University?
Never.
And when you do, it's one every 2, 3, 4 years. And so what are those prices if we launch something there? $2,000 a foot? Maybe more. So the smart money is going to the East Core because there's so much value, but also you've got no other choice. That is where you're going to see growth. That's what you can be a part of. Or you can watch it and be left behind and watch that market grow. And that's not what you want. You want to get into the market. You want to build generational wealth. You want to talk to Sam. You want to talk to HomeLife New World to learn about the next steps and how you can get into Prime, and why CentreCourt is such a leader in the development industry.
And the East Core has really come a long way, the east side of Yonge. 10 years ago, really, it was much harder to sell. Now the city has put a lot of money into it. They put a lot of money into Ryerson, expanding their campus, expanding their programs. Lots of the developers, like CentreCourt, has invested their money there. Lots of buyers have bought into there. Really, the whole area is going through a huge transformation.
Absolutely.
And we're right in the beginning of it still.
Yes,
we're
absolutely.
in the early stages still. Like Jason said, there's still much more coming on Church, Jarvis, on the east side, Sherbourne, Parliament as well. And also, Jason, you mentioned the development team.
Yes.
Maybe you could talk a little bit about CentreCourt. I know most of our viewers probably have heard of you, but haven't heard of your buildings as a developer.
Absolutely.
And what great sales you do. Maybe you can talk about a little bit the history of CentreCourt,
just
in case people do not know.
When you're buying pre-construction, the first thing, we talk about location, we talk about buildings, we talk about brochures, we talk about renderings. The real truth is the first step you should take is aligning yourself with a AAA developer that's going to do what they said they're going to do, that has an extensive track record to ensuring that they're building on time, building quality products in AAA locations that have integrity, like, core principles. So we can talk about locations all day long, but if there's no one there to build it to the highest spec, to the highest standard that they could, none of this is possible, none of this is going to happen. So CentreCourt's been in the business for 11 years. This is our 19th project in a very short amount of time. And when you're able to produce that much product, scale up, it requires a lot of expertise, a lot of execution, a lot of precision. But how we're able to do that is that CentreCourt is one of very few, maybe the only developer that's completely vertically integrated from all aspects of the development process. And that's acquisition, development, sales and marketing, construction, and customer care. All of those facets are in the same room, making decisions, collaborating, strategizing for the best outcomes of you, of your purchasers, and us as an organization. We don't depend on third-party consultants that have different narratives, different goals, different agendas, different strategies, different timelines. We control the situation. And I cannot say that for many developers out there. So that's what makes CentreCourt unique. That's what allows CentreCourt to have 0 days of interim occupancy.
It's a very rare
it is. We're the only one.
That CentreCourt offers.
Yeah,
So it saves the purchasers quite a bit of money.
Especially, look, imagine you're an end user and you want to pay it all off. You can't. Right? And then think about 0 canceled sites, always being zoned, starting construction in the same market that you sold. There's been a number of cancellations because these builders are not experienced. They're selling for too little. They're waiting too long to start construction. They're not zoned for. There's a bunch of reasons. Again, I can't take credit for any of that. I'm here to facilitate the transaction, the sales, to share the story of Prime and CentreCourt. There's an entire organization at CentreCourt from top down, the leadership all the way down to myself, that really set such a high bar day in, day out. And so when you have that, look, you've got trust. And when you can trust, you trust us, have a partner that you can trust with your hard-earned money that can execute and provide you the product that you thought you were buying, that is going to build a name. That's going to build a reputation, and that's going to turn CentreCourt into the biggest developer in the GTA if it's not already.
I think you guys have done a great job in the past 11 years. You guys have quickly climbed to the top of the ranks already in terms of developers in Toronto. Do you guys have any plans to move outside of the downtown core or move into other aspects of real estate?
Good question. I think
like low-rise or commercial?
We're always trying to stay nimble. We're always monitoring the market and looking at trends and identifying, what are other developers doing, where are segments really growing in terms of, resale, where's our potential population increases. So for us, we're very open-minded. We continue to grow. As you know, no one's more bullish in the downtown than us. No one's more excited about downtown than us.
For sure.
But there is a number of projects that we're going to be bringing online that may not be in the core of the core that we see as huge, potential nodes. But again, sticking to our core principles of what? Of transportation, employment, infrastructure, institutions. Those are the elements that we like to draw 2 of the 3, 2 of the 4, 3 of the 4, 4 of the 4. Those set up our buyers and the city for huge success. So we'll continue to flip over every rock, every leaf to make sure that we're finding the right sites, and we will have those sites. We're going to be excited to work with HomeLife New World and yourself to bring them to life. But we're always going to be coming back downtown, no matter what, and we're going to continue to grow with the city.
Downtown is always going to be downtown, which brings us back to Prime.
Yes.
So Prime, maybe some key questions that our viewers would like to have answered. When do you think sales will start?
That's a good question. So we're going to be starting in mid to late April, which is, weeks away. Imminent. Again, right now is a time to educate, to learn, because by the time we launch, that's the time to make the decision. That's the time to say yes, because you're planning for the future. You're watching inflation happen. You're trying to build generational wealth. You're trying to pass that down. In terms of pricing, because I'm just going to answer the questions for you. I know where you're going to go. So pricing is going to be really attractive because of the way we've been able to maximize our floor plans. Right? If you look at the key plate, we kept the same level of functionality by trimming off excess space that's not required. that gives us great end pricing. That's what matters.
Important, especially
right?
downtown, where every inch is very valuable.
Absolutely. So you'll see studios in the high 4s, junior 1 bedrooms in the 5s, 1 bedrooms in the 6s, 1+10s in the 7s, and 2 bedrooms in the 7s and the 8s. So like that price pocket is a sweet price pocket. Nothing in the 9s, nothing in the millions, hopefully. But you're rivaling 905 now.
Yes. Some projects we are working on up in 905 in North York, they are selling at these similar numbers.
So why wouldn't you come downtown? Why wouldn't you get your insurance policy in Ryerson? Why don't you want to be close to the second largest financial market in North America? This is a no-brainer, and 10 out of 10 times you're going to be picking Prime, and you're going to. So, make sure that you contact Sam, his team, to learn more about Prime, be a part of it, because there's only 595 opportunities, and it's going to move quick. It'll be ready in 2023, 2024, and again, when we get to the ground, when we start construction, we move quick, and the goal is to make sure that you have the keys to your home so you can start to continue to build your future, build equity, and be proud of the CentreCourt product that you purchased.
That's the idea. Anything you'd like to add for our viewers?
I think we covered a lot of the ground. Look, we know who to call. We know what we want to buy. We know where it is. We know who the developer is. And I think it's a function of, don't be afraid, because this is going to be an opportunity that you're not going to want to miss out on.
So get ready now, and then in about 2 to 3 weeks, get ready to make a decision. Great. Thank you so much, Jason, today for your time.
Thank you.
Looking forward to Prime.
Awesome. So am I.